They may say, well, we've had a good innings with Queen Elizabeth II. We're not so sure we want her successors. I don't think Canada will ever say that. But anyway, that's rather a byway. Let's concentrate on Her Majesty. And after Charles, I think people anticipate the reign of King William with great interest. Of course, one of the challenges for these future kings is that they will be kings. I think one of the factors in the success of Queen Elizabeth II is that she has been, let's not get too sentimental perhaps, but a mother figure, and now, of course, a grandmother figure. When she grew up, as you rightly said, right at the beginning of the creation of the House of Windsor, after all those other European monarchies fell by the wayside. She grew up within the first decade, and she grew up at the knee of King George V, the creator of the modern House of Windsor. He was known as Grandpa England, and I think nowadays she's earned the title of Grandma England, as well as Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales as well.
Well, let's just go back to those early years, because there were members of the royal family, including George V, who thought that the world was in revolutionary times and that it was going to be very tricky for monarchies to survive. If you go back to 1952, everything has been transformed. I think I mentioned the most eminent order of the Indian Empire, which I think is officially dormant at the moment. So a lot of things have changed. What do you think the Queen's, the reason for the Queen's success through 70 years has been?
Well, I mean, you could look at sociological reasons. I mean, Rupert Murdoch just says, he's made a good deal of money out of the monarchy, and Her Majesty in particular. He just says the poor old Brits couldn't cope without the crutch of the sentimentality that's involved with the British royal family. That's a cynical outsider's view, but I think it should be acknowledged, because let's face it, there are, it's not 100% support that the monarchy enjoys in this country, and that's right as a democracy. But as somebody who has studied the royal family and developed great respect for the work of the Queen, I think, to answer your question, there are her personal qualities in terms of dignity, her sense of duty, unfailing hard work. But above all, I think, going back to what you were talking about, is the fact that she understands she's part of a system. She's part of an institution. She has to serve that. At the end of the day, admire her though we do, we don't admire her as a person. Well, yes, we do admire her as a person, but what I suppose I'm getting at is there are maybe a few too many members of the royal family, or have been until recently, who thought it was all about them and not really about the institution they serve and the country they serve.